if you want to change your mind, you got to change your behavior first. After you start changing your behavior, your brain follows. It's not the other way around. It's not try to change your mind and then change your behavior. That won't work. Change your behavior first, then your mind follows, and that actually becomes who you are. And that literally becomes a real you. It becomes you. It's a change, right? And if you want results, you have to go through change. It's not like you're losing your sense of self, and it's not like you're being fake. But if maybe in the beginning, it's like they're not used to it, right? They're learning a new skill set. They're saying things they never said before. They're doing things that they've never done. They're like, oh my God, I'm actually hugging a girl. This is not me. Wow, I'm hugging her. But eventually they do that enough times, they're just a huggable person. They'll hug guys. They'll hug, hey, yo, what's up? Like, they become that person who's charisma.
Sure, yeah, it becomes habit.
Yeah, it becomes habit, becomes them. And they really, truly become like that. You know, you go through that transformation. So one of the most valuable things is you do something first as a habit, and your brain will follow that, and it'll just become who you are.
Yeah, that's one of the main rules in creating new habits is taking action. And through taking action, you're going to create a set of new motions that your brain was not used to.
Yeah.
And as you repeatedly do the same thing,
yeah,
those motions become a second nature. Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us and hope you'll continue to be a part of our family for the foreseeable future. And if so, please hit that subscribe button. You can watch and listen to our show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all the other platforms. And today we have my very good friend, guru dating coach, Chad Marrix, on this show. Welcome. How's it going?
I'm doing great.
How was your day?
Good. Stayed up late last night, but got some rest, got some work done, hit the gym. Now I'm here.
Are you going out to the gym, or are you still working out at home?
No, the gym's open now.
So you're going to the gym?
Yeah.
Now? I'm gonna probably cancel my membership. So
why?
Since I've been working out at home, it feels like gym has become a moot point. Yeah.
What I found out is that what I like about the gym is the really heavy weight. So when I lift really heavy, I can eat the same and I will still slim down. But if I work with lightweight, I have to also watch my diet.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess every body type is different. Yeah. It all depends on like what you're trying to accomplish, I suppose. Yeah. So I know that you've been coaching a lot of different clients lately. And I think one of the questions that I always think about is what is the most common thing you see in the clients that you coach with regards to their daily life?
I would say why clients come to me, and it's just not my clients, it's just everyone. It's the inability to choose who they want to date. Everyone's so dependent on their social circle, meaning if they're in the same dance class, same acting class, they meet through mutual friends. So it's like people have this very, very small opportunity to like meet the people they want to date because it's limited. But what I do is I free up their options to be able to go talk to anyone, just be a playmaker, anyone they want, at any time. So people have essentially the power to, meet anyone they want. So I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but you see let's say you see a cool group of people, guys and girls just having fun. You're like, God, I wish I was part of that group. So the ability to just go there and assimilate and just be part of that group and win them over, make friends. And, if there's girls in there that you might like, it just expands your options to be able to meet more people.
So it's mostly that they don't think they have choices.
It's not that they don't think, it's that the people that come to me already know. They're aware of their problems. But I would say the other people that wouldn't even think about having a dating coach are unaware that they don't have the options. But the people that do come to me are usually people, I mean, a lot of them are shy and introverted, but that's not always the case. A lot of times, if you look at some of my clients, like I had this 28-year-old doctor, fit, tall, good looking, everything, socially like aware, but his ability to just go up to strangers and talk to them and be able to have that choice, that's what he wants. So it's not always just like the shy introverted person, which I get a lot of that, but it's also people that want the power to just be able to design their social life themselves, and their dating life.
And you only work with men and not women.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason for that?
Yes. Men tend to pay for this, and the way society's built is that men are the ones to initiate. Mm-hmm. Here's an example. This is why, because I've been asked this by girls too. Why I don't coach girls? So if you're a woman, right, growing up, whether you're shy or introverted, it doesn't matter. People are going to come up to you, right? As you're a kid, people are going to still be your friend. People are going to come up to you. Yeah, I mean, I guess, they're, the rare cases that women are loners, but even as they get older, men still approach them. Men still want to talk to them. Girls will still try to be their friend. So they're always being socialized, even if they're proactively not trying to, because maybe they're introverted and shy. But if a guy's like that, nobody feels sorry for him. Girls won't do charity. They won't, start hanging out with the guy. And then guys don't want to hang out with a guy who's not cool. So, or they perceive as cool, right? Because everyone has like something cool about them. That's part of my job, is to find that. But the perception of that guy who's a loner or doesn't make friends easy, that is it's more painful for guys, and it's more real for them. That's why, for example, school shooters, that's why they're men. Those are the ones who are outcasted. They're the ones who feel it, right? So yeah, for a guy, it's a lot harder when it comes to their social life. So there's a bigger need that I found. And then also, that's just my specialty, is men. So, I mean, it's not that, I would be open to helping women, but I'm just not specialized in that area.
Do you think it's any different?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
In what way?
It's different because guys are the ones pursuing girls, and girls don't really have to do much. Like, you could have a girl sitting in a bar by herself. She's most likely going to get approached. So the things I teach, it's like she's already building the attraction. Whereas guys, it's like there's a lot more to it. Guys need a lot more tools. They need a lot more.
So you think it's a lot easier for the girl to walk up to a guy
100%
and get a reaction, 100%. Which is true.
Yeah. They just don't really need it. That's the thing, right?
I mean, has a girl ever come up to you and say, hey, like, have you ever met anybody who said, I have problems? Because I think it's less so about the initial interaction as opposed to the continuous dating knowledge.
100%. So where I think girls could use more help is when it comes to the dating. So it's like when they start seeing the guy, because what I'm helping with the guys do is build the attraction part, that initial stage, where girls don't really need that. But so it is different. It's a different dynamic. Women just get approached. Guys, they have to go out and be proactive in meeting people, especially if they want, if there's a girl they like, they see that girl's not going to come up to him. He has to go up to her. So that's why I have a bigger clientele of guys needing to know how to communicate and the social etiquette of approaching people.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. I do think that in general, the dating culture has become extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Toxic.
Mm-hmm. In what ways?
It just it's and I guess it's always been, you know, a game, but I think now it's less of a. It's like normal. Now it's not. Now the game is like normalized. Mm-hmm. Whereas before, if you played game, it was a. It was like, oh, you're a player. Mm-hmm. Now it's like everybody's playing the game. Now it's like if you don't know how to play the game, mm-hmm. you're left out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But there's always been a game throughout time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like as time has gone by, the normalizing of the game has changed. Where now it's like so normalized that you have to know how to play the game.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, oh, you're a game, like you're playing games, I'm out.
Uh-huh.
Or like, I don't want a guy who play games.
Yeah.
Now it's like the girl is like, oh, I'm playing game, you're playing game, everybody's playing game, you don't know how to play the game, get the fuck out of here. You know?
I don't think that there's any less game before. I think that competition has arisen. I'll say that. There's more competition. Back in the day, you married your high school sweetheart. Now it's like with the amount of people, big metropolitan cities, and it's the game. I guess the game has changed in the sense of there's just so many more options, and but there always has been. So here's the thing, is that when it comes to like the dating, like etiquette and the techniques and the skills, it's always been there, right? It's just it's nothing that is made up. You know, I didn't make anything up, neither did people before me make anything up. It's just a compilation of behaviors, right? Attractive behaviors that people would do. So whether it was, you know, in the 1500s, like women still were attracted to the same thing as they are today. It's just there are more people that are aware of what it is now.
Yeah, the understanding of the game.
Yeah. So it evolves. I mean, it's always evolving. With now, for example, I'll give you an example, right? So if you go maybe in the early 2000s, the clubs and bars were a lot different. Now, what's a lot of like now it's like I would say the game and the way you approach has changed because now it's a lot quicker. The attention span's shorter. You know, you go to EDM music festivals, it's like you got to be interesting right off the bat. You got to have like that good energy right off the bat. Before it used to be more kind of like loungy, more kind of like quiet settings, but now it's like really noisy. It's really high energy. So it's like you have to bring your energy up. So everything's like changing in the fact of like the way you approach people now. So now it's like it's a lot quicker. So it speeds up a lot just because you only have, when you approach someone, 10 seconds to make an impression for them to sit there and want to talk to you, right? Especially when we're out having fun. And right now, everything's based on fun. Like whenever I'm at you with Bootsy, imagine trying to have a conversation on Bootsy.
Right.
Like, you know, I see someone, I'm at Bootsy, and someone's passing by a table, I want to talk to them. It's like, I got to interest them within 5 seconds, right? It's like, it's so loud, it's so noisy, it's so crowded. It's like, there's so much happening, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of the difference as far as like the evolution of it. And as far as like the games, let's take that out of, so I never see it, okay. Because everyone's playing a game. Even if you're your most natural self, it's still in a way a game. Whether you're, you know, going for a job interview, whether you're making new friends, you're going to be very, very polite. You're going to have this, you're going to put your best foot forward, right? So, I mean, that's essentially what everyone does in everyday life, right?
Well, I don't particularly know if I agree with that, because if I'm in an environment where I think to myself, I have to act a certain way, in order to attract people, then I'm not myself.
Okay. So
and it happens often.
Yeah.
Where it sort of, especially in gatherings and parties where people feel like who they are is not who they should be.
Yeah. I love that you bring that up because it's always like this thing and the worst advice in dating that I see is very mainstream is like, oh, just be yourself, right?
Sure.
What does that even mean? So what I'm saying is this: who are we? We're a compilation of our experiences. We became who we are. Is this really who we're supposed to be, or is we that because of our environment, how we grew up, and our rewards and punishments? So this is who we became, right? Is it truly ourselves, or are we just molded from our experiences, right? Can the self change? I think the self is going to be what makes you happy. That's the true self. But if you act in a way, in a behavior, let's say someone wants to date this, let's say you have this person who's very introverted, but in reality, he himself wants to date an artist, maybe a model or an actress, whatever. That's what he's into. Like, sky's the limit. But he doesn't have the set of behaviors to even relate or connect with them. So his self is the one that what he desires. That's who he is. It's just through his upbringing, he became that person, which probably isn't really even him. So when you say just be yourself, right? I don't know if you can say that's even the real person just because who are we, right? So I'm not saying change your core values, but if you go up and start asking some boring questions, like that's a quick fix. Like, why would you do that? Doesn't mean, even someone going, because this is what 90% of people do. Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Like, interview. Is that themselves? People actually don't become themselves because of the fact they're nervous. So they're fishing for a conversation. They want things to say. So they actually lose themselves. Mo, when me and you are having a conversation, right? I'm not asking you question after question after question. It's like I make a statement. I may tell a story. You may ask one question for me to elaborate on that story. And then you will have a response and you will start talking. So it's like we're having a conversation.
Back and forth interaction. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, but people lose that. Is that themselves? I would say not, right? So I even say that I'm bringing them closer to their true self because when I work with people, I'm finding the most interesting things about them, their experiences. I teach them how to highlight them. You have no idea. I'm like, I'll go up to a client, tell me an interesting story. Can't think of one. Then I make them write, all the things they've done in life, right? I'm like, wait, there's no story behind this. Oh yeah, this happened, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, that's a great story. But they can't think of it. That's themselves, right? But they just don't know how to present it because everyone has an amazing self. They just don't know how to bring it from their brain and how to present it in a way, right? So I do think that saying someone just be yourself, but then that self kind of sucks and isn't getting the result, then why would you want to be that self? You want to improve. You want to be, because after a while, because what you were saying is like, oh, I don't want to be a certain way, right? So I would say that we're a product of our rewards and punishments. We get punished for something, we act a certain way. We get rewarded for something, we act a certain way. So enough times I get rewarded. I go to like the club and I talk to someone. I legitimately, everything that I do has become so natural and second nature. It really is who I am now. It's who I became to be. Yeah. So when I see someone, I start talking to them, I'm like, oh yeah, come join us. Like, it's not like the last thing that goes through my mind is that I want something from them, but it's actually the opposite. I'm like, oh, I want to give something to them. So it's like that becomes my new self, but it also gets a result. It also gets a favorable result. That's why it became my new self, because that favorable result rewarded me into becoming who I am today. So it's a transformation.
I'm not particularly, when I say being yourself, I don't mean knowing or not knowing the techniques of how to approach someone. I mean mostly like if somebody is not being themselves, they're acting like they're acting like they're a different person, but not in a way of like opening up and being able to talk. Because if you're an introvert,
Yeah.
right, and you're shy and you don't know how to open up, right, and you push yourself to do that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're becoming a different person. That just means that you're allowing yourself to be more present.
So, you know, they did, I remember a psych study. I was a psych major. And there's something called attribution, right? So it's most of the personal development, most of the people, what they try to do is they say, be confident. They try to pump people up. There are many gurus out there that get people cheering in the fans, getting like, they, you know, get excited. They want to make a change, right? But they're doing it in reverse. So attribution is so for example, if your palms are sweaty, your heart is beating fast, and you're short of breath, what emotion are you feeling?
Nervousness.
Okay, let's say
Anxiety.
Let's say I say there's a bear in front of you with all those symptoms. What was that person feeling?
Fear.
Okay. There's a beautiful woman in front of them. What is that person feeling?
Combination of all those three.
Oh yeah, fair. I guess they could be fear, right? It could be excitement,
Sure.
right? It's same physiological symptoms, but it's just they're attributing it to something else, right? So what people do is they backwards rationalize. So if you want to change a behavior, if you want to change your mind, you got to change your behavior first. After you start changing your behavior, your brain follows. It's not the other way around. It's not try to change your mind and then change your behavior. That won't work. Change your behavior first, then your mind follows, and that actually becomes who you are. And that literally becomes a real you. It becomes you. It's a change, right? And if you want results, you have to go through change. It's not like you're losing your sense of self, and it's not like you're being fake. But if maybe in the beginning, it's like they're not used to it, right? They're learning a new skill set. They're saying things they never said before. They're doing things that they've never done. They're like, oh my God, I'm actually hugging a girl. This is not me. Wow, I'm hugging her. But eventually they do that enough times, they're just a huggable person. They'll hug guys. They'll hug, hey, yo, what's up? Like they become that person who's charisma.
Sure, yeah, it becomes habit.
Yeah, it becomes
Absolutely.
habit, becomes them. And they really, truly become like that. You know, you go through that transformation. So one of the most valuable things is you do something first as a habit, and your brain will follow that, and it'll just become who you are.
Yeah, that's one of the main rules in creating new habits is taking action. And through taking action, you're going to create a set of new motions that your brain was not used to.
Yeah.
And as you repeatedly do the same thing,
Yeah.
those motions become a second nature.
So that introvert will actually be a great extrovert
Yeah,
through habit and practice.
sure.
And he'll start to enjoy it. He'll start to enjoy it because he gets results as your success. People like the things they're good at. So when people get results, they start liking it. They start, they start liking it.
Yeah, and I guess when I describe as not being yourself or acting like a different person is more so with regards to, and I don't want to call this lying to the people around you, because that's not.
What's the lie?
I guess the attempt to. So it's one thing to want to change.
Yeah.
Because your desire to want to be a different person, right? But it's another to put up an act. So, like, for example, you are an aggressive asshole.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy walks up to the girl and is acting all sweet and nice and respectful. Right? And 3 months in, all of that changes. Because as soon as he got the girl, then he no longer has to put up that act.
I see what you're saying.
That's what I describe as being a different person or acting like a different person. Because your intent to begin with is to lead or is to trick the person into believing you are a certain type, but in reality you're not. And I'm not suggesting that the person, what would they do? Like, walk up and be like, well, I'm an asshole, like, come date me, right? Like, nobody would do that.
Oh, man, two things are coming up. People actually do the mistake in trying to be an asshole to get the girl. But let's think. Why are people assholes?
Well, it all depends, but, like, immaturity, lack of self-awareness, I think, ego.
There's two reasons why.
Lack of confidence, but yeah.
Either they're an asshole because they were rewarded for being one, or two, they were nice at one point and they're being an asshole to overcompensate. Either way, it's not a good thing to be an asshole, right? So my argument with that is you could have the biggest asshole in the world. And it's funny, especially living out in Hollywood, right? Oh, this is really interesting. Because last night, I met a new friend, and she's like, wow, you're amazing. She's like, how do you, with all these, influencers and blah, blah, that you meet, why are you so real? How do you, get along with them? Well, it's because I know how to elicit people's best behaviors. I know how to, I present myself in a way where they will be real, right? So
the person that you met was telling you, what was the person telling you?
Oh yeah, people in Hollywood are super nice, right? And I'm like, you can't say that person's a bitch. That person is this way, right? Okay, let's say a guy's a player, right? Cheats on everyone. I guarantee you that there's someone out there, just because he cheated on one girl, there's a girl out there that for him, he will do anything for. So it's all dependent on the person they're interacting with. Just like some girl's a bitch. She's a bitch to maybe some random other Joe Schmo, and he's like, dang, that girl's a bitch. She shut me down. But to her friends, she's an amazing person. So it's like, to say that one person's a certain way, just because he's an asshole, doesn't mean he's an asshole to everyone. Or doesn't mean he's going to be an asshole forever. If he met a girl that was able to challenge him and be able to correct his behavior that you respected so much, he actually wouldn't be an asshole. But I do think that there is a thing that people think that assholes actually get the girl. That's a big misconception. So I think that people I think that in itself is a facade.
Well, a lot of women do admit that they're attracted to assholes. So I don't particularly know if that's true, that the girls, because they do. It's not that the assholes get the girls. Mm-hmm. It's more so that the girls have a certain bad boy type that they go for, which by nature are assholes.
Okay. So let's take, what are the qualities? If I were to take a true asshole, the guy who actually girls find attractive, right? Because in the end, girls don't want an asshole, but there are certain traits that they have. So what I do is I take the optimal ways of doing things, right? Mm-hmm. So I take out all the good, leave the bad out, right? So just on the spot, first time doing this, if I was to dissect what an asshole and the only good qualities of an asshole are, and this has nothing to do with their character, but certain attractive traits. because what I mean by character, I mean like the lies, the, playing people, just being a bad person. That's not what's attractive. They do have qualities that you can take from that, which is assholes are not needy. Assholes, especially, there's a attraction thing. It's they are able to emote. They're able to not get walked on. They're able to call out a situation. They're able to put a girl in her place. I'm trying to think if there's any more attractive qualities. Non-needy. They're not needy because they're probably like talking to other people, right? So it makes the girl feel like, oh, he's not like, it makes the girl seek validation because he's not totally into her. So the ability to do that and to be non-needy and the ability to call people out when appropriately, those are actually positive things. You take that out of the asshole, put it to the good guy. He's going to be really attractive. And he's going to keep a girl, but he's not take the other part of the asshole way of like the bad morals. Then you got a guy with edge. You got a guy who's attractive. That's the only reason why an asshole would even do well.
Yeah, and I agree with that. However, I think that is problematic on both sides. Mm-hmm. Because I think that if you're a mature person, mm-hmm. and you're aged and you're in your 30s and your 40s, mm-hmm. and again, maturity and self-awareness is a big part of that, then you automatically know that that's not who you should be. Mm-hmm. Right? You shouldn't be acting like that. Mm-hmm. Like that, like the and I understand the concept because I've seen it happen, multiple times, but I think women should also become aware of the fact that if they're feeling that way, that I'm looking for somebody who makes me want them mm-hmm. more. You know what I mean? Like that, like that desire in itself is immature to me.
Yeah. I want to address that. I do want to, before I forget, one last quality that makes an asshole attractive is that they're the closest thing to treating a woman like a normal person. What that means is that you have all these guys kissing a girl's ass. They don't even know them, but they're like, hey, can I buy you a drink just so I can talk to you? It's like, okay, you're already like, you know what I mean? They're already like putting themselves, like they're supplicating to the woman, and women don't find that attractive. We're an asshole, or the asshole we're talking about, right? And I'm taking away the morals aside. I'm just talking about only the behavior part. And I'm not. And when we're talking about asshole, I'm not talking about insulting or anything like that. That's terrible. That never works. But what I'm saying is that if an asshole can, what they do is they can tease someone, right? Like, and especially if it's funny, right? If you like think about your friends, like we bond through teasing. So if they can like put it this way, if a girl slaps your arm, laughs playfully, hits your arm, and says you're an asshole, you're doing things right, right? That's what they have, the ability to like just relate to a girl. Like imagine you see the most beautiful woman at the club or bar, and everyone's just trying to be like do things for her, be super nice. She just wants someone who's going to treat her like a person. Sure. So assholes do have that quality. So you take the three qualities I talk about, put it to a good guy, eliminate the bad morals, then now he's attractive. And also I did want to address with the whole if a girl meets an asshole and then he ends up he gets her and then he dates and he's an asshole and then she dumps him, then he just got punished and then he's not going to do that again, and then he'll keep changing as his rewards keep happening, right? The moment he gets punished, he'll stop that behavior. The moment he gets rewarded, he'll continue. So I did want to address that for earlier.
Yeah. So, but you're suggesting that pattern is unending because it continuously keeps happening.
I just think that not everyone's a true asshole. Like, unless they're like a psychopath. Like, eventually people change. And here's the thing: you gotta think about it like this way. Every single person that I've ever trained is not an asshole. It just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, naturally, those most introverts are not.
Yeah, it's not even about being introverted. It's the fact that It's funny because there's a saying, there's two things guys feel like they can do, which is they all think they know how to fight and they all think they know how to meet women. That's a big ego hit. I mean, I'll meet guys and they find out I'm a dating coach. They'll talk about all these girls that blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's full shit, you know? I mean, I have stories about like me calling out guys when they tell me that. And I'll literally point to a girl, go talk to her. They're like, oh no, I got to get a drink. Oh, go talk to her. Like, and it's just like, it's amazing how much shit guys talk. But my point is, what was my point?
But well, what? Tell me one of those stories. Like what?
Oh yeah, okay. So, so I had this guy that started coming to my parties. We became friends. Met him through mutual friends, and he's like, "Yeah, Claudio." He's like, "Yeah, oh man," and he's a good-looking guy. Like he's a really good-looking guy too. And he's like, "Yeah," I was like, "Yeah, it's easy for me to talk to girls, whatever." But I already know, like, I already know that it's different, like meeting through mutual friends versus going and approaching someone you don't know. So we go to a bar one day, right? I'm like, I'm gonna call this guy out. I'm like, hey, you think that girl's cute? Obviously, she was the hottest girl in the room. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, go talk to her. He's like, let me get a drink first. I'm like, bro, just, dude, like the line's long. Just go talk to her. He's like, no, I want to get a drink. Okay, cool. Thinks I'm gonna forget about it, right? I'm like, all right, you have your drink. Go talk to her. He's like, dude, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, dude, really? He's like, goes to the bathroom. I'm like, finally comes back from the bathroom. I'm like, bro, you have no more excuses. You're lucky she's still here. Go talk to her. He's like, no, man, we're at a bar. If we were at a club, it'd be easier. You know, I could just say, hey, what, but we're at a bar. Everyone's going to watch me. But I'm like, dude, I'm like, watch. I go talk to her. Like, just start talking to her friends. I'm just like, chill. And then, you know, I bring him into the thing. He's like, I'm like, dude, do you know what you just did? And what I had to do, I had to show him that I could practice what I preach, because he knew me not as a client, but as a friend. But I felt like he was kind of undermining what I do and the value that I provide, because he's like, oh yeah, I don't know why guys would like have a dating coach. Like, it's so easy. But when you ask a guy, yo, go do it, they change, man. They can't do it.
There's a fear of rejection.
Yeah, there's a lot of biological fears that go behind that. But yeah, so the guys, a lot of guys they think they know how to fight and they think they know how to pick women. Like, you could talk to, like, you know, the typical uncle with like bad fashion and like big belly. He's like, yeah, back in my day, I used to pull girls. I can still pull girls right now. Like, dude, everyone talks about how they can get girls. It's so
everybody talks a big game.
It's so insane. So my point is, for you to say, you know what, I am gonna pay you to teach me how to attract and date women, right? That takes a lot of, like, you have to leave your ego aside. So those people who are willing to do that are actually the most genuine, nicest people. I've never had a client who's just a genuine asshole.
Right. Ever.
I've had them say asshole shit because they thought that was the thing to say. And I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, right. But they only did it because they, you know, I'm like, dude, like, get that. But they are. I mean, you could even get like, I mean, you just got to, I think it's more important to ask, why are people being assholes? Are they doing it because they think it works? Are they doing it because they had trauma and they have this insecurity? Is that why? Are they really assholes? Or I would argue that 99% of the guys would want someone that can make them want, I'm not saying they want to do everything for it, but like I was saying earlier, it's like, get a girl to make them meet their match. Make a girl that makes them want to stay with them. Every guy wants to find their love, right? Even the asshole out there. Because I guarantee you that asshole, even he's an asshole, he is groveling at some girl's feet. There is some girl out there that's rejecting him. There's some girl who people are like, oh, that girl's a bitch. There is some guy that she's after and she'll do anything for. So there's always people out there that you're only meeting one side to them, right? So I don't know if I believe in like true assholes, if that makes sense. I know there's asshole behavior, but I don't know if there's like, you know, people who just, I don't know, are just bad people.
Well, I guess you believe in the humanity of humans more than I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, okay. Have you ever been an asshole to a girl?
No.
Never got in a fight, said anything mean?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm very composed.
Okay.
I mean, I've been in situations where my ex one time came up to me and slapped me in the face in public.
Because you were being an asshole?
No,
Why?
because she was jealous and drunk.
Okay, let's take that into account. She was jealous. In her mind, in her perception, you're being an asshole because you're making her jealous. Were you entertaining another girl?
No, I was walking a girl to the table, and it was really crowded, so I had her hand in my hand. But it wasn't anything like, it wasn't anything inappropriate.
Yeah, but in her mind, at that time, if she's like, was Bo ever an asshole? She'll say yeah.
No, she'll say no. Well, at that
that
moment,
point, yeah,
at
that's
that
what I'm
moment she
saying.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all relative in the perception of someone's eyes.
Yeah, but we're not talking about perception. We're talking about reality.
Okay. All right. Let's define an asshole. What is an asshole? Like a true asshole. What are we talking about?
Well,
Is it someone
person
who
who
says
treats-
douchey stuff or?
well, yeah, that too. But then somebody who treats their partner inappropriately, with disrespect.
Okay.
And I think mostly it's just, if you're disrespectful towards somebody else, right?
I do believe that's true asshole. I do believe, okay, yeah, once you get to know someone, you're in the relationship, that's a separate thing. But I do think that most people who go up to girls and act like assholes, it's because they're trying to overcompensate. They're trying to get a reaction. It's their way of crying for help. It's pathetic, but it's their way of doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's their way to, like, the kid on the playground pushing someone. It's like they like them. It's their way, the only way they know how to get some type of reaction. So as long as, how pathetic as it sounds, is those guys are just trying to get some reaction and they're happy with that. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do think that the social etiquette, those people need help, but those guys would never come to me. They'll never pay me.
Yeah, because their ego's through the roof.
Yeah,
for sure.
They're helpless. Yeah.
That's funny. I think that for me, even now, I've come to realize that it requires a different set of skills to find someone you can spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
Because I think the culture has become so tarnished by so many different elements that we're no longer true to ourselves.
Yeah. So I do want to clarify, because what I do, it's not like magic or anything, right? If I don't have chemistry with a girl, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
The only thing I'm able to do, or what I do, is there's like a little crack and I present myself, and there's like, I make it into a hole, and it becomes like a window and eventually a door where all the walls are down, where we can meet and really, like, without any type of walls of a stranger coming up to them, or, any kind of, like, because there's always a wall, but once you break that wall down, you're going to see if you guys click and connect. That has to be a natural thing. That has to happen naturally.
Of course, yeah, chemistry. If there
chemistry
isn't, there
has
isn't.
to be there. So, but all I'm able to do is, what I'm basically doing is being able to see the truth. If it's really this facade, as there's no chemistry because I'm a stranger or they don't know me, they have these ideas about who I am. So once I break that down and I get to see the real person, they can see the real me, and I present myself and I see who they are. That's all I'm doing. I'm just making that little hole into like a door that we both can walk through to see if there's anything there.
Yeah.
And it's just removing all that bullshit. It's removing, like, you know, you go up to someone, it's like, say, you know, you probably had like 10 guys come up to that girl that same day, but they came up with all this bullshit. So you already like have this stereotype of just being like that other guy, but no, it's like, I want to connect. You just want to see if there's connection, right? If there's no connection, nothing's going to happen, but there has to be actual connection. But my ability to see the truth in a lot quicker fashion within 5 minutes, if there's a connection, that's kind of more the superpower.
Well, that takes skills.
Yeah. And that's all I'm doing.
That initial part is the hardest part.
And that's all I'm doing. I'm just acting in a way where, for example, guy comes up to a girl. Most guys, what they do is they ignore the friend and they only go the girl thereafter, right? Already he lost. Maybe that girl would have liked him. But what's going to happen is her friend's going to go, hey, let's go to the bathroom, pull her away, because what he did is actually rude. He didn't address the friends. He didn't talk to them. It's just, he just came off a guy who's thirsty. Right? But maybe if she actually got to know him, maybe she would have liked him. Maybe, right? But he didn't allow that. He didn't create that into like a door where they can meet and see who each other are.
Right.
So with the skill set and the social etiquette that I teach, it's like, no, talk to the friends. Give love to them. Make them your friends. And don't hit on the girl. Let her get to know you, because that's what we're doing, is like we're essentially creating time that we don't have. That's really what it is when it comes down to, is when people start to like each other, like how I said before, through social circle, through school, through mutual friends, like they spend a lot of time together. Let's say you throw Friendsgiving. You've done that before, and you invite, you know, a bunch of girls over, and then, you know, someone that I don't know, I'm just spending a lot of time with that person, right? I have time. I have that advantage through social circle, through school, through work. You have time. But when you just meet someone, a stranger, what you're essentially doing is you're just buying more time. Yeah. And you're doing it in a way where you're not doing any kind of social violations, like ignoring the friends, right?
Yeah, focusing their attention.
Yeah. So by doing that, you're just allowing her time to tell whether you guys connect or not. And that's all you're doing is with the social etiquette. It's not so much manipulation. It's just more of you're creating an environment that everybody wins, and you're allowing the person to spend time with you, to get to know you, and you're doing the same. Just because I go up to a girl doesn't mean I'm going to want her. I have to get to know her first, right? I am initially attracted to her, or there's this vibe about her that, that I really like and I'm curious about. But essentially, I'm going to make the decision after our conversation, but I'm going to need more time to to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, that skill itself is something that a lot of people are looking to gain, because the minute you are put in the position and in the place, everything you think you know goes out the window because of the fear and because of the lack of confidence, because the thought of rejection and all of those things. Yeah. So it's interesting to see people gain that confidence, from those techniques that you sort of put in their hand.
Yeah. And the techniques are just something so simple as like knowing how to address their friends, knowing what people do is like they talk to people like at the same place for like ever. It's like it's an environment where everybody's winning, right? So whenever I approach a girl, it's always thank you for coming out to me. Whether we become friends or whether we start dating, it's always, wow, thank you for coming up to us, because it's something that you're creating, something that everybody wins. Either you're going to make new friends, you guys might date, or you guys just might share a fun experience for that night, And the techniques that it's very, how to explain it? It's when you explain the techniques, some of it is, it's counterintuitive. you know, and that's what makes it more powerful. I always found the value in things that are counterintuitive and not common sense.
Sure.
Yeah. Something that would be counterintuitive is people go up, you know, they go up to someone and they're like, ask a lot of questions, right? That's natural. Oh yeah, people like to talk about themselves. Ask them questions. Oh man, that's advice I see all the time. But the counterintuitive part is, and the real answer is, people don't want to answer your questions. They don't know who you are. You have no value to them.
Right.
You got to present yourself. Say who you are first for them to even care to even want to share about themselves, you know?
Yeah.
So the counterintuitive part is when I go up to someone, I am not thinking what I want from them. I'm not thinking about getting their phone number. I'm not thinking about looking cool. I'm looking for my friends. I'm not thinking about sex. I'm not thinking about making her my girlfriend. I'm not thinking about any of that. I have one simple agenda. What am I going to give?
Right.
It's just that.
What value you're adding?
Yeah. What am I going to give? Am I going to tell them a true story? Am I going to make them laugh? Am I going to teach them something new? Am I going to add on to the vibe, the energy? Sometimes you go up to someone and you're not even talking. You go up and start dancing, you know? But it's like, it's something that you're adding to them. Like and it comes off. And that's called, like, you know, this inner game that people have. It's like what goes through your mind is going to affect how you say things and what's going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because you mentioned the counterintuitive, and I think, you know, the concept is what people sometimes confused between the difference between introduction and dating.
Yeah.
Because they're two different things.
Yeah.
Right? When you're trying to introduce yourself to someone, what you do is different than what you would do during a date when you take somebody on a date.
Yeah.
Or when you're in a relationship is very different things that you do as opposed to what you do when you're dating someone.
Yeah.
So those are like three different sections of you know, section A, section B, and section C, totally completely different from one another.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for men to gain some knowledge and experience on that front.
Yeah. And I do specialize and focus a lot on the meeting part, because that the more people you can meet, the higher chances you find someone that you really want. And the bigger selection you have, the more likely you're going to find someone that makes you happy. And you have references, you have experience, like, oh, I like this or I don't like that. You're not just limited to your options. As far as like going on the dates too, I mean, that is something that, you know, I work with too, is like how to go on a proper date and like how to, you know, allow for that chemistry and connection to happen. But I think what people have, but when you're already on the date, that means she's already interested in you. And a lot of times people is just what you say, just be themselves and talk about what they are and their interests. That takes a lot less technique and skill because there's a lot less obstacles thrown at you.
Right.
And the technique and skills, all it is just to handle obstacles. It's not, you're not changing someone's mind. You're not changing what they really want. You're just, you know, people put up obstacles, or there's obstacles in your way that happen that you have to just get past for that person to truly get interested in seeing who you are. But once you're on the date, I always say, like, don't be nervous. They already like you. They're agreed to meet up with you, especially if it's one-on-one and it's, you know, like, they're interested. So that's when you could, like, really just, like, talk about, like, who you are and what you do. And a lot of times you don't have that time to do that when you meet someone in person, but you have to make a quick impact for them to even be interested to, like,
positive impression. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Time went by very quick.
Yeah.
It's been an hour already.
Yeah.
So that was nice. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And as always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and we'll see you on the next episode of Unattainable.